Mr. Fauci and the Fauci ouchie is freaking out, and I have to say, I like a lot of me wants to maintain as much neutrality as I can for people on both sides, but I really, really despise when people rig the definitions of things, because look, Dr. Fauci is the highest paid government official in the government. Okay, he makes at least $480,000 a year. Now he's receiving an estimated pension of like $414,000. And obviously there's been a lot of debate about this. Did COVID originate from a lab leak theory, right? And Fauci sort of co-directed initial reporting that suggested, no, this wasn't a lab leak. We get all of that. But what I want you to see is this clip that I'm about to show you. It's really kind of scary about the redefining that we're getting about the natural transmission of COVID and what it means. So I want to show you this. But before I show you this, let me just catch you up, okay? Really quick catch up, okay? Proponents of the lab leak theory argue that COVID-19 most likely escaped from the biosafety level 4 Wuhan Institute of Virology. It is the first bio-level safety 4 institute in China, which increases the odds that potentially COVID did leak from there because there is no international body regulating biosafety level 4 institutions, and this is China's first. So you know your first time hurts a little. Your first time, like, you tend to make some mistakes, okay? The U.S. Energy Department concluded that COVID-19 most likely was the result of a lab accident in China. The FBI director also supports this conclusion, although a little bit more weakly than the Energy Department. And of course, a lot of people are like, why is the Energy Department and FBI, why do they have researchers on this anyway? Anyway, the whole point of doing investigations into why potentially a COVID leaked from a lab is because we have sent taxpayer money, potentially many millions of dollars, to support research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now there are also recent investigations by Congress into potentially being double billed for a research. So in other words, not only did money go to China, but potentially we got double billed for certain things in China. Double billing potentially amounting to about $1.6 million in double billing, but that's a lot. It's not like you double billed me for a hammer that you spent $80 on, which is insane anyway. But these are millions of dollars of double billing. Now, obviously, this is also politically a heated topic because during his presidency, Donald Trump supported the lab leak theory. However, in 2021, the Biden administration shut down an investigation into the lab leak theory that Donald Trump initiated because he deemed it unhelpful. The previous CDC director, Robert Redfield, claimed that Anthony Fauci shut down the debate onto COVID origins because they kind of wanted to control the narrative. Now, Dr. Fauci, which I'm about to show you, freaks out right here. So there's going to be a nice little freak out we're going to be looking at here and sort of a redefining of definitions, which the redefining, it pisses me off the most, okay? And again, I'm not trying to take sides here. I want you to show you how people do mental gymnastics to screw you. Like literally you watching this right now. When you see this mental gymnastics you're about to see, you're going to be like, Kevin, sign me up for your programs on building your wealth, because if that's the kind of mental gymnastics that happens in the media, I want to know, how do I avoid mental gymnastics in stocks, real estate, especially? How do I negotiate with people, the elite hustlers group? How do we actually make more money? Because the world, quite frankly, is quite rigged. But anyway, quickly, why is it important? Well, it's obviously very important to determine the origins of COVID so we can, A, prevent it from happening again in the future, but also remember the debate that's going on. Like, on one hand, people are very upset over the extreme lockdowns that we experienced, the fear, the misinformation, the censorship. Like, these are like politically heated topics, right? And we've got people obviously on both sides of the aisle, but I think Americans just want the truth. But this right here, it grinds my gears. Just listen to this like 30 seconds right here, and it grinds my gears. Listen in.
Okay, now listen to what he's doing. Listen close.
A lab leak could be that someone was out in the wild, maybe looking for different types of viruses in bats, got infected, went into a lab, and was being studied in the lab, and then it came out of the lab. But if that's the definition of a lab leak, Jim, then that still is a natural occurrence.
Oh, okay. So, wait a second. So, Fauci just argued that And he's trying to cover this with the idea, well, if somebody got it in nature and then went into the lab and then went home out of the lab, it's still a natural occurrence. Now, there's some massive mental gymnastics happening here because he's really trying to cover with this, in my opinion, for the idea that, well, if you were doing directed evolution inside a lab and you're just infecting monkeys over and over and over again with the most virulent strain of COVID, technically, that's still a natural occurrence. So technically, even though COVID could have leaked from a lab, it still happened naturally. So we're just going to stick with the idea that COVID originated from natural transmission. Now, what really blows my mind is, why is there such hardcore defending over China's potential lab leak? I don't know. Oh, sorry, quick note. If you want to change your perspective on how to build wealth and actually make money with stocks, real estate, your job, your side hustle, your self-employed gig, whatever it is, property management, rental properties. If you have fears about thinking the system's rigged and you don't know how to navigate through the system, consider joining me in any of the programs linked down below on Building Your Wealth. Not only do you get access to me with Q&A and our course member live stream, I can provide a lot of perspective to you, but you get lifetime access to the courses. The cost of the courses goes up over time, so the sooner you join, the more you lock in a lower price now, and you get a price match guarantee in the event the price, for whatever reason, were lower in the future, although we don't expect that. We expect prices to only trend up as we continue to add value. And so you want to lock that in now with only upside ahead of you with more content and protection against any downside. Folks, check out those programs on Building Your Wealth. While I am a licensed financial advisor, I've got a real estate startup that's raised over $25 million, and we're coming up with another fundraising round with our Reg A. We are super excited to have you in those courses. I want to be clear, none of the information is personalized financial advice because I don't specifically know your situation, but I think you're going to get some pretty incredible information that'll help guide you on the way to wealth. Use that St. Paddy's Day link down below. Oh, is it because Fauci doesn't want, as Elon Musk says, to be prosecuted? Take a listen to the freak out right here.
Republicans and Elon Musk for calling on him to be prosecuted. Watch what he said over the weekend.
And there's no response to that craziness, Jim. I mean, prosecute me for what? What are they talking about? I mean, I wish I could figure out what the heck they were talking about. I think they're just going off the deep end.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Not great. A little bit interesting if you've been following this to pay attention to this because, I mean, in my opinion, it's let's just put it a little sus that now all of a sudden we're potentially redefining what's going on with the COVID lab leak, and we're redefining it as basically natural transmission. That to me is a little bit scary and I don't like that. But the good news is I was able to get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. And in the links down below, you too can get yourself this awesome needler from Halo, which is pretty sick. Double kill. I wish I could do that voice. Like, that would be cool. If we could do those voices on here and I had like a soundboard, it'd be sick. By the way, this right here is the proximal origin of COVID. This was the paper that Fauci guided writing on. It was used in over 2,200 video and article citations disputing Donald Trump's claim that COVID originated from a lab. But listening to Fauci's re-explanation about natural transmission potentially even being able to come from a lab kind of makes me read this right here. It is improbable that COVID emerged through lab manipulation, and it kind of makes me think about this in a different light. See, remember, we don't actually think scientists sat there and re-engineered COVID in that lab where the leak occurred. We think they used directed evolution and just reinfected monkeys over and over and over again and took the most viral strain. So that's how Fauci could still call it a natural transmission, not a lab leak. And that's how it could be called not laboratory manipulation. They're kind of trying to trick us, in my opinion, here with their phrasing. And that personally bothers me because now it's like, yeah, okay, it happened as natural transmission within the lab, but then it leaked. But it's still natural transmission, so we're going to call it natural transmission. It's like, damn, man, how stupid do you think we all are?